everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report in Los Angeles, and I'm so happy to welcome Eli Ward from The Voice to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Eli, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you and talk about excitement and even craziness. You yourself said your blind audition of Louis Capaldi's Bruises was crazy. So I want to hear more about your reaction when Gwen turned for you and then Reba.
Yeah, I think crazy is honestly an understatement. I went into that blind, obviously a little bit nervous. I was going to perform in front of just four absolute legends. And I didn't really, I had practiced a lot how I might react if a coach didn't turn when I thought they might. But I never really thought about what I would do when they do turn. So once Gwen turned around, I wasn't even looking at the coaches. I was looking at the ground in front of it, and out of like the black ground, like these blindingly bright white lights showed up, and it was just Gwen, and I lost my mind. I was so just beyond nervous, excited, just relieved, like every emotion you could feel. I was feeling it in like the same 5 seconds. So it's definitely a little bit rough on the music side of things, but once they turn around, they can't click it again and turn back around. So I really wasn't too worried. And then Reba turned and the same thing. It was just so overwhelming, of relief, of joy, that a little bit shaky on the vocals, but I'm excited to get that all reeled in for battle rounds.
Well, you got still some really good feedback from the coaches. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I think the feedback was really mainly just dealing with nerves and almost the kind of the inexperience that goes along with that. I don't really perform very often. I sang a lot in high school, junior high, and growing up as a kid, but these last 3 years in college, I really haven't sang at all. So even getting onto The Voice, I was already like almost doubting myself. I was like, I don't know if I'm as good as some of these people. But being with those coaches, being with the other contestants has been huge for me. It's been such a huge confidence boost, and I think I'm ready to go come battle time.
What was going through your mind, though, after you finished your performance and you were faced with that decision between Gwen and Reba, who said she loved your voice and your approach? So, what was your decision-making process like at that point?
Yeah, so even going in before the blind happened, I had kind of made up my mind of who I might want to choose if X or Y turned. And by the time I got on stage and started talking, I didn't remember a single thought I had before that. On top of that, I had not a single logical thought going through my brain of who should I choose, what makes the most sense via teams, because at this point I went so late in the auditions that I knew almost every person on every team. So I was trying to think a little bit logically to think if I went on Reba's team, I'd likely be placed up against a country singer, and I don't really think I can beat a cowboy in a country song. It's just not going to win. So I was leaning towards Gwen. She didn't have as many guys on her team, and the style of music that I usually go for wasn't very prevalent on her team either. So logically, I was kind of leaning towards Gwen. But honestly, the only thought that I could think while looking at them and talking to them was, do I want Gwen's hoodie or do I want Reba's tater tots? And I thought it'd be cooler to have a hoodie in my closet. So that's like half the reason I went with Gwen. But they were both so amazing. I could have gone anywhere and it would have been perfectly fine.
Well, speaking about clothing, tell us more about when Niall ran up on stage to get a picture of you guys in your similar outfits.
I That'll never comprehend in my brain. I don't think I'm ever gonna like actually feel that happened, but that was the cool. I can die happy. That was all I wanted. Him running up and like I didn't expect him to be my height. We're both like 5'8". I just like looked him dead in the eyes. I was like, whoa, you're Niall Horan and you're like a foot away from me and wearing the same clothes. I was just trying not to look dumb. But he was so cool, and having the same little outfit on was pretty fun. But yeah, that whole experience was just out of the world. I am so happy all of that happened.
Well, that's a picture of you two you're going to treasure forever, right? I mean,
Oh my goodness. I might,
that
I
was
might,
unexpected, right?
I might tape that like on my bed, like just have it somewhere I can see it every day. That was so cool. That was great fun.
Eli, let's talk about your performance history and some of your musical influences.
Yeah. I've been performing music, whether that is like piano recitals, the jazz band drummer or guitarist or marching band or choir. I've done every musical thing I could ever do growing up. So I performed a lot. I had a lot of different um even different like duets or trios of things. I got pretty decent at performing, especially through high school because I was doing it quite often. And then in college, I just didn't. I have a band that I play with, but I don't even sing in that band, so that definitely didn't help me for the vocals. Um, as far as influences go, I think, I mean, I of course have my influences of like the famous people, like the Noah Kahns or the John Mayers, the Jacob Collier, Louis Capaldi. Like there's so many that I could listen to just day in, day out. Novo Amor, just tons of stuff. But I think one of my biggest influences is definitely my mom. She's always been such a huge music person. Without my mom, I'm never here, not even close. I probably can't even play the piano. But she's always been so helpful in any genre of music, any way I want to take something. She's always the first person to be in my corner. As well as like my middle school choir teacher. I had the same one all through middle school, high school, and we're still in touch. I was probably not the easiest kid to work with, but she was so good, and I owe quite a lot to her.
Well, speaking about family and people close to you, I hear you had a voice watch party in your hometown of Waterloo, Illinois. So, how did
Yeah.
that go?
Yeah, so there are a couple bars in Waterloo. It's small town Waterloo. They found out that I was on The Voice and the whole town just went ballistic. Which was so cool. I think it's so awesome to go from somewhere like Burbank where it feels like everybody's like a big shot and like everyone's famous. It's crazy. And then go back to like small town Waterloo and I don't know. It was fun, but there were a couple bars that every single Monday and Tuesday they would like bring out projectors and just throw them on the sides of buildings. I was like, wow, you guys are committed because like they had no idea what day it was going to be until it was down to like the last episode, and I could only be on the last episode. I hadn't aired before that. So getting to be there, watch, and also just watching myself on TV felt super weird. But having all of the people that have been there for my whole life around me while that airs was really cool.
Well, speaking about bars, we have to wrap up our happy hour, Eli. But I want to thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time out to be with me. And I want to lift a glass to you and your continued success on The Voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. This was super fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.